Got any more jokes?
We're live. Good morning. How you doing today? This is Unity Church of Billings, Montana. And Mother Nature gave us a beautiful spring morning with snow and crocuses coming through the snow. Yeah, it's not too cold. I should have found Ricky, I should have found the haiku in there that you wrote about it. So we're here together today to enjoy this morning and share this time with each other. Very happy to be here. So welcome. Would you join me now, if you wish, in singing Surely the Presence? And Rick will accompany us, I do believe.
Nobody told me.
You can sit or stand, whichever you like. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can feel the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Okay. Now, Sunday services are being live streamed, so please help support Unity Ministry. You can donate by going to PayPal at the Unity Gmail address and just click on the donate button. Thank you. So, yes.
The website is live again too, so you can donate there as well.
Wow. The website is alive again. Alive, alert, awake, and enthusiastic. Yeah. That's a song you guys know. Sing it in Sunday school. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Yeah. I'm alive, alert, awake, enthusiastic. Haven't figured those out yet. You're way ahead of me. So now there's a few announcements, okay? There may be time for Leslie to speak. I'm not sure. We've got yoga with Tony. She's here today, in case no one knows. Tony is right there. She's a fantastic yoga teacher. And it's on Thursdays from 5:30 to 6:30. Approximate love offering is $12. Busy bags in the basket in the back for any children who are here. They're in the basket right back there. They're little blue baskets. And return them at the end of the service. They're just stuff for the kids to do in case they are a little rambunctious, okay? So, meditation room is available from 9:30 a.m. Sunday morning, Monday, Tuesday evenings at 7 to 8, and Thursdays yoga night from 5:30 to 7. The meditation room is also available. So, Robin, do you want to do your announcements while you're up? Okay. A technical problem. I will continue then. Okay. All right. Charlene has asked me to announce. This is very impromptu, so get your impromptu shoes on to stay here. After the Sunday service today, it's 100-year anniversary. Can you believe that? Of Unity of Billings. I mean, that deserves There's a planning meeting after Sunday service with Charlene, and there's a few people signed up back there that are willing to be involved in that. And if you would like to help us out with that, we're going to have an exciting time. Thanks for your participation ahead of time. Now, T-shirts?
Yes.
All right. Ooh.
Okay, so Clayton's going to bring up the slides for you so you can see what they're going to look like. But we are going to order T-shirts for sale. This is the front of the short sleeve, and the front on the long sleeve and the short sleeve looks the same. So it's got Unity Spiritual Center, Billings, Montana. And then if you want to show them the back, the back says, "May your heart have a home here," and 100 years Unity strong.
Isn't that fabulous?
So, and we have a long sleeve option for those that our son challenged, or something. And it looks the same on the back. So, the short sleeve prices are $16 for a small to extra large, 18 for a 2X to 3X, and larger than that is 20. And the long sleeve ones are $22 for the small through extra large and 25 for 2X and 3X. So there's a sign up in the back if you would like to order a shirt. Just put your name, phone number, and what size you would like to order. We need to get our order in by the 13th of April because we are going to encourage everyone to participate on April 26th. It's after Earth Day because Easter is the weekend before. So the citywide Bright and Beautiful Billings cleanup, and we're going to see if we can get a specific area, but somewhere will give us some exposure to wear our t-shirts and allow people to see us in our Unity shirts and hopefully maybe ask us about Unity. But anyway, also giving back to our community. That's one of the goals of the board, is to find ways to give back to the community and to be a presence in the community. And so there'll be more information about where our spot will be and that kind of stuff. We will also be ordering a banner that we can have at public events, or put outside like Marcia does when she has her event, when there's something like for our open house, and those kind of things that are coming for our 100-year celebration.
How can people order if they're not here to sign up on the sheet?
It's going to be in the newsletter as well. So we'll get the information out every way that we can think of. Spread the word. We'll put it on our Facebook page too. So share it. And hopefully we can get those orders in. If we get them ordered by April 13th, we will have them for the 26th.
What did you need?
They are, they're that super soft,
Is it
really
cotton?
nice. They're cotton. I think there's a little bit of spandex in it or whatever, but to get that really soft cotton.
I was gonna say, if you can get me a link, I'll put it on the website. So you can order.
Cool.
Yeah. So, well, we probably want to maybe create one that they can come to us and order versus going to them, because the church is going to pay for the shipping. So if we can get them all ordered at once, then we can get them. We'll cover that shipping. If somebody orders on their own, they'd have to pay the shipping. So,
Okay.
Any other questions?
That's
All
good.
right.
No questions.
So we're
Wow.
excited.
Yeah.
We kind of let Mia we told her what we wanted, with the things we wanted on it, especially the 100-year strong thing. She actually created the Unity 100-year strong.
And who is this person?
Her name
give her
is Mia Brewington.
And their business? No?
Well, let me look. Mia My Shop.
Meal My Shop.
Had to look at the email this year.
Meal My. All right. That sounds exciting, you guys. And that's a really reasonable price. I work at the Billings Clinic and we have t-shirts all the time and they're quite expensive. So that's pretty good. Yep. Like it. I'm going to write my name down and I'm going to hide the size though. Not really.
Just have a mark and X in the box.
Okay. All right. So more announcements. Onward we go. In the back, there are some calendars that Rick and I make with our photography. And it says that the price is $20, but if you want one, just take one. It's just to donate to the church. If you want to put a buck, whatever in there. There's Yellowstone and mountains, rivers, and Tetons. 4 of them left. So help yourself. And okay, and then we've got this little book of haiku that Rick has finished, and he's published it, and it's available also. It's $20. If you care, he has some over there. So let's see, other announcements. Okay, we got the t-shirts, the church meeting. I think we've got that covered. Okay, welcome. Friendship Sunday potluck is next Sunday. I already know what I'm going to bring. Join us downstairs after the service and share some wonderful eats and conversation. And if you don't end up bringing something, staying up till midnight, making delicious, wonderful things, then you can just come because there's always enough food, always. And you're very welcome. Okay. So, is it time?
We're gonna announce speakers.
Oh, the speakers. It says announce. It says today, Leslie Fisher. I was thinking, now it's it. Okay. So the March speakers, Leslie, our honorable coming up from the ground up. Yeah. Today, and April 6th is Reverend Edie Weigel. Spring cleaning. That's a good topic. April 13th, Reverend Orlinda Worthington. A funny thing happened on the way to enlightenment. That's great. Hopefully it won't snow and she'll be here. And the 20th, Easter, is Reverend Edie Weigel again. And on the 27th will be Marcia Colver now. Okay. She's our resident healer. Okay. Well, we're all healers, right? Okay. Now, guess what time it is for? Unity Song with David Friedman. Enjoy, relax, take a deep breath.
Every prayer is answered, every prayer is heard, every thought and feeling, every spoken word, what your soul has longed for, what your heart can feel, is already here, is already real. There is no one out there is no one else. You hold all the answers deep inside yourself. There's a voice that whispers, there's no you, no me. There's just one, there's just unity. One power, one presence, one light to lead the way. All loving, all knowing, that answers when you pray. When the world looks darkest and your eyes can't see, gather all your troubles, give them all to me. I am always with you. I will always be. I am one. I am unity. We are one. We are
I love the words to that song. Now I will do the light the Christ candle. Actually, there's the Christ light within us, represents that. Christ light within each of you and within this church and out to the universe in many, many levels. The Christ light shines continuously. Oh, would you join me in reading the daily word? No. How about the beginning? My soft heart expresses love as I forgive. Holding on to hurt caused by someone's words or actions is harmful to mental, physical, and emotional health. If I stew over these negative feelings, it's likely I will feel worse. It is when I'm willing to let go of these troubling emotions that the healing begins. Forgiveness is healing, realizing the slight may have been unintentional, or the one who hurt me may not be aware of my pain, and I feel compassion. I let go by repeating the words, I forgive you, silently to myself, which helps me speak these words aloud when I'm able. If I have caused unintentional harm, I ask for forgiveness. Through divine love, I forgive and am forgiven. As I express this love, I mend feelings and open the way to peace and harmony. Luke 6:37, do not judge, and you will not be judged. Do not condemn, and you will not be condemned. Forgive, and you will be forgiven. Please join me in affirming again. My soft heart expresses love as I forgive. Now the Unity Foundation principle, if you'd care to join me in affirming this. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And the Unity of Billings affirmation, which is created by Charlene. Thank you very much. Through divine wisdom and grace, Unity of Billings is vibrant, healing, and inclusive. Now the love offering. If you would take in your hands whatever it is that you wish to give today, whether it is your love, your energy, your time. Just embrace it. Hold it in your hands, in your heart. And please repeat with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Will the ushers please come forward? They are ushering in our prosperity. Clayton. Thank you. It's time for special music. It is going to be page 89, I believe, in the garden. And my accompaniment is now in the children's room. Okay. I believe it's 89. Thank you, Rick. You may stand or sit, and I think probably a lot of you may know this. Okay, here we go. I come to the garden, and the voice I hear from my ear, the sound of brightest roses. And he walks with me and he talks with me, he tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we stay there, never has ever known. Okay, voices. This sweet voice, it's so sweet, the birds just like singing. The melody that came to me, within my heart is ringing.
me and he talks with me. Tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there. I say goodbye with you. Never heard from me before. I can't see no voice of war. His voice to me is calling. And he walks with me and he talks with me. He tells me I am his own. And the joy we share as we tarry there.
Thank you. You may be seated. Bless the love offerings. We give thanks for all that is offered today, and we know that it blesses us as well as where it is going. We are very grateful. Thank you. Amen. Now, it's time. Leslie Fisher, and it's a surprise.
It's a surprise because I couldn't think of a title.
I like it.
So,
Is this one on? Do you use it? Do you use this?
Oh yeah, I don't tend to wander too much. You know. Good morning. Yeah, I couldn't think of a title. Robin was like, just have it to me by Wednesday. And Wednesday came and went, so it was a surprise because I couldn't think of one. Little preface here. I've been reading this wonderful book called Zealot. It is about the life and times of Jesus of Nazareth. It looks a lot at like the historical context of the world he grew up in, kind of examining a lot of the stuff that's missing from the Gospels, like, you know, the first 30 years of his life after he was born. We don't get to read about a lot. And truly, there's not a ton of actual historical documentation about it from the people who knew him, but he was well known enough that there were people outside of the realm of the Christian church who were talking about him and writing about the things that he was doing. So there is historical documentation, and this book is a really, really nice compilation of it from what's his name? Reza Aslan, which is a beautiful name. Anyway, that was kind of not the inspiration for the talk, but I definitely, I have tabs from it. I was looking in there because I think it's really interesting, and our history and our past informs the decisions we make. It informs who we grow up to be, the community that we live in. You can't look past it. It's important because it informs, your past informs your future. And unless you decide to make conscious choices to do something different, we can see throughout history, we just tend to kind of repeat the same things over and over again in cycles. And so I think it's really interesting that Jesus chose to do something different. He saw the long line of his people behind him, and he thought, I'm going to do something different because I don't want this to continue. I don't want my people to continue to suffer, and I want the world to be a better place. And so I'm going to do something about it. And that was what I really wanted to talk about today. So, who was Jesus, really? What world did he live in? And what was he really about? Today, we will journey back over 2,000 years to the tumultuous nation of ancient Israel and take a critical, objective look at the world our great teacher lived in, the political and religious climate of his time, and happenings that would have helped to shape his past and therefore to inform his life and his future. So often, he's presented to us only through the lens of the movement he sparked, and the idea of who he was and what he really taught fades into the smoothed out, time-worn polished figurehead of the Christian church, passed through countless hands, and embellished by countless ideas over the span of 2 millennia. My goal today is to give a glimpse of the real person through the historical context of the time and place he lived in, and also to briefly examine the lessons he left for us within the light of that context. The spiritual goal behind this is to nurture connection with the person, Jesus of Nazareth, and to give cause for us to look critically and objectively at how we claim to follow the example he left for us. The intention is growth. I don't by any means claim to be an expert on the life of Jesus, nor a historian, although I do have an avid interest in both. And as part of my studies to become a Unity minister, this is obviously something we've spent a little bit of time covering, just briefly. In many ways, I'm doing what so many before me have done. I'm looking at the parts of Jesus's life and character that I connect with the most, and attempting to connect with those who may not share my ideals through him. However, where this has so often become a means of exclusion in some way, my objective is to build bridges. So let's go back. Try and picture it in your mind. Close your eyes, really trying to get in there. Envision the arid desert. Feel the hot, dry wind on your face. And imagine the thirst, never quite quenched, as you teeter on the back of your camel, anxious to make it to the oasis of the city, Jerusalem. You know, in generations long past, it was a beacon of the sovereignty of God's chosen people, captured through divine providence by the illustrious King David, and then crowned in righteous glory with the establishment of Solomon's great temple. However, after centuries of war and foreign occupation, as well as the long exile of the Hebrews in Babylon, the once great city as it comes into view is still breathtaking, but in a sad, faded kind of way. Oh, sure, the walls have been rebuilt. Even the temple has been erected once more, albeit through the efforts of a Roman lapdog only interested in his own lavish indulgences, and not so much the spiritual heritage of the people he meant to rule. Herod the Great had the temple rebuilt to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, to appeal to his Hebrew subjects and to flex for his Roman masters. He clearly failed on both counts. His subjects despised him almost more than Rome itself. And when he died, his kingdom was purposefully divided among his 3 sons, none of whom Rome named king. And this saw a definitive end to the unified kingdom of God's chosen people. Oh, God's chosen people. They were already so divided amongst themselves, it almost wasn't necessary for Rome to help it along. This was a nation torn asunder, its people having spent more centuries under the rule of foreign kings than free. And culturally, they were at a tipping point. Those born into lesser families and classes trudged through the world, their lives a harrowing, grueling existence of toil and subservience to those who held all the social and political power, both of the wealthy ruling classes, which of course you had to be born into, and the mighty, barbaric, seemingly unstoppable fist of the Roman Empire. But anytime a gap so wide grows between the people of a nation, there are always those who step forward into the crosshairs, shouldering the discontent of the people and bearing it toward the oppressors. In ancient Israel, these people were the prophets. In times of upheaval, they rose to be the mouthpiece of God in the common man, calling out injustice and giving voice and hope to the people. There had not been any prophets for a long time. This disheveled, diasporic world of unrest and oppression would be the stage onto which Jesus of Nazareth stepped, and where he grew up, watching his people suffer as they wandered ever further from their covenant with God, their necks under the boot heel of Rome, and their native rulers so corrupt as to be Gentile in all but blood. You can find my water bottle. Sorry. Enter Jesus of Nazareth, the prophet. There is little history given to his early life, save for a brief moment when he was 12, and he had been in the temple 3 days without telling his parents where he was. When they found him, well, they did what any parents would do. They panicked. Where have you been? We've been worried sick about you. We've been looking everywhere for you. Luke 2:49 gives his reply. Why are you searching for me? Did you not know that I must be in my Father's house? When I was younger, this statement filled me with awe. He knew where he belonged and he wasn't afraid to say it. But now as a mom, I kind of hear it a little differently. I can kind of hear the sass from the preteen Jesus being like, what did you expect me to be? Come on. But, and I can definitely relate to the parental panic of, oh my God, where's my child? But at the same time, this verse and the chapter it resides in are meant to show us the divine presence within Jesus that he was so in tune with as an adult. And to illustrate that those who routinely dwell in that presence, more often than not, can be misunderstood by others. It is the condition of a true mystic in any tradition to lean so far into the spiritual that one's relationship with the physical world can look strange to the people around them. And then his timeline skips forward into his early 30s when he began to teach and when he began to prove himself a thorn in the side of the ruling classes. But why the gaps? For that, we have to understand that the idea of history, as we know it today, in the Western world, would have been unknown to the people living in Jesus' time. Riza Aslan puts it so well in this book. The notion of history as a critical analysis of observable and verifiable events in the past is a product of the modern age. It would have been an altogether foreign concept to the gospel writers, for whom history was not a matter of uncovering facts, but of revealing truths. They thought about history a lot differently. A lot of things were passed down through oral tradition instead of in writing. And so the things that you pass down better be worthwhile. If they better be memorable, because they're going to go through a long line of people reiterating them and embellishing upon them. And that's how history was remembered for so long, especially for the nomadic Jewish people. They didn't carry books with them. So what truths can we reveal through the history of Jesus, the man? We can look at his direct accusation of the people in charge, his own countrymen who stood on the backs of their people to maintain a decadent lifestyle, while the common people struggled to live at all. We can see this paralleled so well in the state of our own country. The wealthy live above the law, but possess the ability to manipulate that law to keep those with less means in check. We can look at his attitude toward those who Jewish tradition and society at large deemed unclean. Jesus continuously healed and ministered to these people, knowing that they too were beloved children of God and undeserving of their social status. He extended his hand to those who society shunned and taught principles of spiritual equality by claiming that a person's relationship to God was not something given to them by the priests, but rather something inherent within themselves. This threatened the dependence of the people upon the religious aristocracy. And as history has shown us time and again, those who threaten that dependence begin to walk through the world with a target upon their backs. And that is the risk we take when we stand up for the oppressed, when we threaten the dominant power structures that be, to walk with a target on our backs. Jesus accepted this burden. And like Reverend Phil talked about last week, he may not have been a bodhisattva in name, but he embodied the concept brilliantly. If the proclamation of divine love, peace, and spiritual equality are the yin side of Jesus' teaching, then this is the yang, actually going out and doing the work, backing up those beautiful teachings with action. This is not easy work. Jesus called 12 disciples to him to help carry it out, and even they didn't always get it right. There were a few times in there that he kind of had to look at him and be like, really? What are you guys doing? Are you even listening? Or are you sleeping? What's happening? We are all products of our own past, shared and personal, and we must face our own biases and challenges on our way to expressing the truth of divine love. How do we do that? How do we face down the massive presence of history and our own oppression and shortcomings to step into the future as bringers of life, hope, and peace to all expressions of God, in spite of our personal feelings and misgivings. We do what Jesus did. We bring it back to love. We bring it back to the universal, all-encompassing truth of the love that permeates all of existence, including the existence of those we disagree with, and yes, even those we despise. I don't believe for a moment that Jesus didn't grow up around prejudice and hatred. It's written right there for us to read. Anyone who deviated, willingly or not, from the expectations of Hebrew society was cast out, forced to live on the fringes of their communities, presuming they weren't stoned to death. But Jesus understood the principle of divine love so well that he intentionally went against social norms and spoke out against the injustice that those around him seemed to just accept as the way things are. Jesus clearly understood that in order to change the way things are, he had to change the way people understood each other. He had to teach that on a spiritual level, the leper and the king were on equal footing. And no matter what a person was born into, they were just as much an expression of the divine as anyone else. Unity teaches this perceived separation between God and humanity as the absolute and the relative. The absolute is the realm of spirit, the underlying, transcendent, constant indwelling of truth that gives energetic expression to the relative, the physical world we live in and experience. The meat of the lesson, however, is to realize that this separation does not exist. The separation we see between ourselves and those we see as less than, between those we love and those we hate, between life and death, it does not exist in the realm of the absolute, which is the realm of truth. The underlying truth of all things that everyone is always seeking, no matter how they go about it. And that perceived separation is the source of all malice, discontent, and suffering in our lives. And without it, there is nothing between us but the infinite presence of love. And this is the great lesson he left for us, that we are never separated from God, and thus we are never separated from each other. Our individual lives are interwoven with the lives of all, and forever connected to each other through the divine love that gives us all expression and life. And in the knowledge that we are all expressions of the divine, it stands to reason that the freedoms and rights, sticky pages, it stands to reason that the freedoms and rights we seek to enjoy ourselves should be extended to all, regardless of our personal feelings and misgivings. We who claim to follow the teachings of Jesus need to take a critical look at exactly how we're trying to do that. Do we actually treat our fellow humans with the respect and dignity they deserve as an expression of divine love? Or do we choose to live in the separation and perpetuate the suffering therein? We must learn to see one another through the lens of the Christ mind, as Jesus did. To see each and every person as a whole, holy expression of the divine, and to treat them accordingly, is the greatest spiritual achievement we can aspire to. It is the truest expression of our divine nature. Can we execute that vision perfectly? Maybe not in this world, but that doesn't mean that we should despair and give up. We can always try. We can always choose to try and do better. We can always choose to try and come back to love and see the world that way. When we feel ourselves falling into thoughts of separation and limitation, we can always come back to love, go within and reconnect with the divine idea that all beings are an expression of the one. The beautiful thing about divine ideas is they never diminish. That idea is always there to draw from and can never weaken or fade. We can always go into the silence or go to headquarters, as Charles liked to call it, and reconnect with that idea and express it in the world. So the next time you find yourself in a mindset of separation and limitation, take a moment to examine that feeling. Is it rooted in truth? Or is it rooted in the fallacy of separation, and therefore only a source of harm? And if so, how can you come at the thoughts behind the feeling from a place of love and compassion? How can you change your perception to see with the Christ mind? You will find infinite courage as Jesus did when you live from that Christ consciousness, and you will do wonders. I also, this isn't part of what I wrote, but I thought about it just now, so I am going to ramble a little bit. I'm also reading a book by the Dalai Lama, which is super interesting. And anybody who's studied Unity history knows that Unity drew off of Buddhism a little bit in some of their practices. And one of the things that Buddhism teaches is the concept of emptiness and interdependence. And those are kind of hard. Emptiness is a hard one for Western thinkers, I think, because of the word itself. It probably translates a little squiffy. And we think of emptiness as nothing, as empty. There's nothing there. But the concept as they teach it is more like that absolute concept in Unity. It's the idea that the things that we can touch and sense and interact with in the physical world all have a divine backing. There's an idea behind them that is of divine mind, and that idea expressing into the physical world is the idea of interdependence. All things are connected because we all come from the same source. And so it's really interesting to see how those interact with each other. And that's really the point that I wanted to make, is that we're all connected. We all connect at the Christ mind and through God. And there's no way to separate that. And so when we look upon each other as less than that, we're perpetuating that idea, that separation. And if we can convince ourselves that that separation doesn't exist, because it doesn't, we know that God connects us all. The universal love of God connects us all. And so there is no separation other than the separation we believe there to be. So if we can make ourselves believe in the truth that there is no separation, we can walk through the world and make changes. We can treat other people better, and we can make better choices going forward, so that the world isn't just better for us, but that it's better for everyone, including the people that, when we live in that place of separation, we don't always agree with, we don't always like, we don't always even love. But that is our work. That is our mission. That is our job as spiritual seekers, as people who claim to want to follow in the footsteps of a person like Jesus, is to get to that point of oneness and love and compassion and put it out into the world in whatever way expresses through us the best. We all have individual gifts and talents, and I think those are the ways that we can do that, each one of us. So really take a look when you feel that icky feeling of, I don't like that person, I don't agree with what they're doing, I don't like how they're talking. Take a look at it. That is the universe telling you to examine something about yourself, something about how you think and perceive. And if you do that, eventually it becomes second nature, and you just go back to love every time.
Well said.
Thanks. I rambled a little, sorry. I think there's brownies downstairs. Am I wrong? Is it brownies? There's cookies with brownies. Oh my gosh.